Hey friends, happy Sunday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I'm Taylor. I'm a stay-at-home wife and mom, and I share these What's for Dinner videos every Sunday to hopefully motivate you to cook more for your family and to give you some new meal ideas. I started these videos like 4.5 years ago to motivate myself to cook more for my family because we were eating out a lot or eating a lot of the same things and I wanted to try new things. And it has just turned into this where it helps me, but it also helps y'all. So if you like these kinds of videos, I do hope that you will subscribe down below so you can come back and see my future videos and just be a part of our family here on YouTube. I just want to take a minute and say thank you to all of the love on last week's video. Y'all were just so nice and so kind, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. But we're going to go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Friday night was a real simple dinner. I just made a really big homemade pizza. I will leave the recipe for the pizza dough that I use down in the description box below. It's called like fail-proof pizza dough and I absolutely love it. So we've got that, and then of course some marinara sauce, some pepperoni, some Canadian bacon, lots of mozzarella cheese, and also some cheddar cheese. And then on the crust, I mixed together some olive oil with some Parmesan cheese and some garlic powder and just brushed that on the crust, and it was so good. It was like a garlic bread crust and it was delicious. And to go with that, those of us that like salad had salad, and of course Lily just had some little fresh vegetables. Saturday night we tried a new recipe called 3-cheese Italian sausage Alfredo bake. This comes from plain chicken, so the recipe will be linked down below for y'all. So I just started off by bringing some salted water to a boil to cook up 1 pound of penne pasta, and then I also cooked up 1 pound of Italian sausage. When my sausage was done, I used a paper towel to remove the grease, and then I just set this to the side until my pasta was done cooking. Once my pasta was done, I drained it and then returned it to the pot, and then I started adding in the rest of my ingredients. So I added in a jar of Alfredo sauce, and then to that jar I added in a little bit of milk to kind of get the remaining like sauce out of the jar. And then I added in some sour cream, a whole container of ricotta cheese, some minced garlic, 2 eggs that I beat together, 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and some parsley. I gave that a good mix, and then I added in my sausage as well. And then I transferred this to a 9x13 baking dish, and I topped it with some mozzarella cheese, and then this went in the oven for about 40 minutes on 350. And here's what it looked like when it came out of the oven. I let it rest for like 5 minutes before serving, and this was really good. It had really good flavor, but something was off with like the texture of the sauce. Like I don't know if it was the ricotta cheese or the egg that did it, but just something was a little off with the texture. So I don't know that I would make it again, but it did taste really good. We definitely really enjoyed it. Sunday night, I made some air fryer chicken thighs, some Instant Pot mac and cheese, and then just some green beans and tomatoes. So to prep my chicken, I am seasoning it with a little bit of Tony's Creole seasoning, some garlic powder, and some Cavender seasoning. And I'm doing that on both sides. And then I'm going to stick these in the air fryer on 350 for about 25 minutes until they were cooked all the way through. Once they were done, I went in with some Heinz 57. You could use like any barbecue sauce you want, but for some reason the Heinz 57 was sounding really good to me. So I put a little bit of that on each one and brushed it on there. And then I just stuck this back in the air fryer for about another 5 minutes. Get that sauce nice and cooked into it. And then we had Instant Pot mac and cheese. As I said, I've shared this before. I will have the recipe linked down below. I just made a can of green beans, put some chicken bouillon in there, some garlic powder, salt, pepper, and then some sliced tomato. And I had my chicken with some hot sauce. So did Andy. We put the hot sauce on our chicken and our green beans. It is delicious. Monday night we had Tex-Mex chicken and rice casserole. This recipe comes from my Better Homes and Gardens cookbook that I got almost 15 years ago now. So I've been making this recipe for a long time and it is a family favorite. So I will have the cookbook linked down below for y'all as well as the recipe because I have been able to find it online. So I'm starting off by heating up a little bit of olive oil in my pan over a medium heat. And then I'm going to cook up half of an onion just until it's nice and tender. And then once it is, I'm going to add in 1 box of like chicken flavored rice-a-roni as well as the seasoning packet and let that cook for like 1 or 2 minutes just until it's nice and toasted. Then I add in 2 cups of water and 14 ounces of broth. It calls for a 14-ounce can of broth, but I just make my own with some water and some Knorr chicken bouillon. Then you just bring this to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, you reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, I turn off the heat and start adding in the rest of my ingredients. That's 1 can of diced green chilies, 2 medium tomatoes that I de-seeded and then chopped up, 2 cups of cooked chicken. This is actually some chipotle chicken that I made a month or so ago and had in the freezer, and I knew when I had leftover chicken that I wanted to add it to this recipe, so that is what's in that. And I will have that video where I made the chipotle chicken down below, but you can use any cooked chicken you want. Rotisserie chicken, canned chicken I've used in this before, just any cooked chicken. And then you're also going to add in some basil, chili powder, cumin, and black pepper. And then I transferred this to a casserole dish and topped it with some shredded cheese. And then this goes in the oven at 425 for about 30 minutes. And here's what it looks like when it's done. If you don't want it this browned, you can follow the original recipe and cover it with foil. But I like the browned crispiness of it, so that's why I don't put foil on it. And then typically we would top this with like some salsa or something, but because I used that chipotle chicken, that added enough spice, so we did not need any salsa. We actually wanted sour cream instead, so we topped it with a little bit of sour cream and we ate it with some chips. This recipe, as I said before, is a family favorite, and the leftovers are great, like wrapped up in a tortilla as a burrito. Tuesday night we had magic crispy baked shrimp. I have shared this as shrimp once before. I've also done this recipe with tilapia and with salmon, and every way is delicious. And then we also had some garlic parmesan couscous and some roasted broccoli. So here's that all plated up. This is one of our favorite meals. This magic crispy baked shrimp is so easy to put together and it's so good. Wednesday night we had steak, roasted potatoes, and a salad. So for my steaks, I am using a package of ranch steaks that I got from Good Chop. My Good Chop link is always in the description box down below if you are interested in trying it. This isn't sponsored by them, but I am an affiliate, so I will earn a commission if you use my link, and you'll save, I believe, $50 on your first box. So I'm just going to get these in the fridge marinating for a couple of hours. So to them, I'm doing the steak marinade that I always use, which is some soy sauce, some lemon juice, some olive oil, some Worcestershire sauce, some minced garlic, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, a little bit of red pepper flakes, and then I'm just going to mix that all together really well and put that in the fridge for a couple of hours. Next, I had this idea for like a caprese inspired salad. It's based on these mozzarella balls that I got at Aldi, and once I thought of it, I could not stop thinking about it until I finally made it. So I took these marinated mozzarella balls and I dumped them into a bowl with the oil and everything, and then I added in some grape tomatoes and then just stuck that in the fridge and let it marinate the tomatoes a little bit. Later I decided that I wanted to cut up the mozzarella balls, so I ended up quartering them, and I think if I make this again in the future I will have the tomatoes. It still turned out great and it was still delicious, but I think in the future I would cut the tomatoes in half as well. Then for my roasted potatoes, I am just cutting up a bunch of small baby like yellow potatoes. You can do whatever potatoes you want, but you want to make sure you cut them all into about equal sized pieces. I do them all about like 1 inch, and I'm just cutting all those up and getting them on my sheet pan, and then I'm going to toss them in whatever seasoning you want. I did some salt and pepper, some paprika, some garlic powder, some onion powder, a little bit of Tony's Creole seasoning, and I believe that was everything that I did this night. And then I just toss that all together, and then I stick this in the oven on 425 for about 30 minutes, tossing halfway through. To cook my steak, I have just warmed my cast iron pan over a medium heat, and in it I'm heating up a little bit of olive oil and butter, and then I'm just going to add my steaks to the pan. I kind of like patted off some of the marinade, didn't get any chunks of garlic because you don't really want it to burn. And then I just cook my steaks for about 4 to 5 minutes per side, and that usually gets it to like a medium rare where we like it. I would recommend looking up the temperature for your preferred doneness, and cook it to your liking. So then I just flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. And here are our plates. Andy and Elijah just had a regular salad. Lily had some veggies and some of those tomatoes and the cheese. And then this is the salad that I had been dying to try. It's the tomatoes and the marinated mozzarella balls, and then I drizzled on some balsamic glaze, and I also added a little bit of that oil marinade as like my dressing to my salad, and it was delicious, y'all. It was so good. I even had it for dinner the next night, and I ate some for lunch. I will definitely make that again. If you like caprese stuff, I would recommend making like a salad with it. It's so good. Thursday night was our crockpot meal of the week, and I made some barbecue pulled pork sandwiches. So here in my crockpot, I've got this pork butt from Good Chop again, and I have got this seasoning from Trader Joe's. It's the Barbecue 101 seasoning, and I'm just gonna like rub that into this pork butt all over on all sides. And then once that's nice and coated with the seasoning, I go in with some barbecue sauce. I'm using the Kansas City style one from Aldi. It's our absolute favorite barbecue sauce. And I've got about 1/4 of a jar left here. So I'm pouring that over, and then I added a little bit of water to the bottle to get any remaining sauce, and then added that to the crock pot as well. And then I cooked this on low for 8 hours. Then once we got home from martial arts, I just took my little meat masher thing and shredded up the pork. I also picked out any big pieces of fat, and then I just let this sit in that sauce while I prepped the rest of dinner. So we just had a salad with this. I had the same salad as the night before, and then we also had a can of baked beans, and that is it for this dinner. And that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that you guys got some new meal ideas and are inspired and motivated to cook more for your family. If you made it here all the way to the end of the video, I hope that you will leave me a heart in the comments down below to let me know that you made it to the end. And if you haven't already, please subscribe down below. I'd love to have you come back and see my other videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!